Chosen one. Listen carefully. There comes a moment on this path when something inside you begins to shift. Quietly, almost mysteriously, the voice inside you that once demanded attention begins to fade. The urge to prove yourself slowly loosens its grip. That restless hunger for recognition begins to disappear. Have you felt it? The old reactions, the old urgency, the old need to be seen, it starts dissolving. And in that quiet space, something unexpected begins to rise. Not weakness, not confusion, authority. A presence within you that does not beg for validation, a presence that does not compete, a presence that does not chase approval. It simply stands, unshaken, unmoved, certain. Most people will never understand this transformation. They think identity is built by the ego. They think the louder voice is the stronger one. But the chosen know something deeper. When the ego begins to fall silent, you are not losing yourself, you are uncovering yourself. The world taught you to build a personality, but heaven planted something far greater inside you. Sovereignty, ancient, unshakable, divinely anchored, and when that authority begins to awaken, your entire inner world starts to change. You stop reacting the way you used to. You stop chasing the things you once chased. You stop fighting battles that once consumed your energy, not because you became passive, but because something higher inside you has taken the throne. Listen closely. What you are experiencing is not a personality shift. It is an identity awakening, and not everyone will recognize it. The world celebrates ego, but heaven develops authority. The world rewards noise, but the chosen carry presence. At first, the signs are subtle, easy to overlook, easy to dismiss, but over time they become undeniable. Patterns begin changing. Your reactions evolve. Your internal compass grows stronger. You begin walking differently through this world. And today you are going to recognize exactly what is happening. Because there are 9 signs that your human ego is stepping back, and your eternal sovereign authority is stepping forward. 9 confirmations that the person you once believed yourself to be is only the surface, and something far greater is rising underneath. If these signs are appearing in your life, understand this. You are not breaking, you are awakening. First, the need to prove yourself begins to disappear. Pay attention to this, because this shift confuses many chosen ones in the beginning. For years, you may have felt the pressure to explain yourself, to defend your decisions, to justify your path. People questioned you, they doubted you, they misunderstood you, and part of you felt the need to respond, to correct them, to prove that you were right. But something changed. Now when someone questions you, you feel different. The urgency is gone. The impulse to argue has faded. The need to convince people of your worth has vanished. And this is where many people misinterpret the moment. They think you have lost confidence. They think you have become indifferent. But the truth is far more powerful. Your ego is stepping aside, and your authority is taking its place. Understand this spiritual law. The ego survives on validation. It feeds on recognition. It demands attention. But sovereign authority does not operate that way. Authority does not shout. Authority stands, quiet, steady, certain. And when that authority awakens within you, you no longer feel the need to explain yourself to every voice around you. Think about a moment that may have already happened. Someone criticizes your decision. Someone questions your direction. Someone tries to provoke you. The old version of you would have reacted immediately, but now you remain calm, not because you are weak, because you know something they do not. Truth does not need to argue. Truth does not panic. Truth stands. And the deeper your authority grows, the more you realize something powerful. Not everyone deserves access to your explanations. Not everyone is meant to understand your assignment. Your path was never designed for universal approval. It was designed for destiny. So when the urge to prove yourself disappears, do not fear it. Recognize it. Your ego is stepping down from the throne, and your sovereign self is beginning to rise. But this is only the beginning, because the second sign reveals something even more profound. Second, competition begins to lose its meaning. Listen carefully. This is one of the most misunderstood transformations in the life of a chosen one. Because the world is built on competition, from childhood you were taught to measure yourself, to compare, to calculate your position among others. Who is ahead? Who is behind? Who is winning? Who is losing? The entire system runs on this illusion. But something strange begins happening when your ego starts stepping aside. The race stops making sense. Have you noticed this? You see people running, pushing, comparing, competing for recognition, and something inside you becomes quiet. Not bitter, not jealous, just still. The urgency fades. The pressure to keep up disappears. And suddenly you realize something that most people never see. You were never in their race. Understand this truth. The ego survives through comparison. It constantly asks questions. Am I better? Am I behind? Am I respected enough? Am I winning? But sovereign authority does not measure itself against others. Authority recognizes something deeper. Everyone walks a different timeline. Everyone carries a different assignment. And chosen ones, you were never meant to follow the crowd. You were meant to walk a path that the crowd cannot see. This is why your journey has always felt unusual. Your timing has been different. Your struggles have been different. Your victories have unfolded in unexpected ways. And at times this confused you, because you watched others rise quickly. Others gain recognition. Others achieve what the world calls success. And the old version of you wondered, why not me? Why is my path slower? Why does my journey feel heavier? But now something inside you understands. Your life is not built for comparison. It is built for preparation. The pressure you endured was not punishment. It was refinement. The delays were not rejection. They were alignment. While others were chasing attention, you were being developed. While others were competing for position, you were being positioned by destiny itself. And this realization changes everything. Because when someone succeeds around you now, you do not feel threatened. You feel calm. You feel steady. Sometimes you even feel peace. Why? Because your spirit knows something your ego once forgot. Your calling is not a competition. It is an assignment that cannot be rushed, an assignment that cannot be copied, an assignment that cannot be stolen. This is why comparison begins falling away from your mind, not because you stop caring about growth, but because you finally understand where your validation comes from. It does not come from outrunning others. It comes from fulfilling what heaven placed inside you. Remember this, the world celebrates competition, but destiny honors obedience. And when your sovereign authority begins rising, you stop asking, how do I beat them? You begin asking, how do I become who I was sent here to be? That question changes everything, because the moment you stop competing, you start aligning. And alignment carries a power the ego could never understand. But the next sign reveals something even deeper. Something that will change the way you move through every room you enter. Third, silence begins to carry more power than your words. Listen carefully. This is where the transformation becomes visible. Because the ego always needs noise. It needs to explain. It needs to defend. It needs to fill every moment with words so it can feel important. Have you ever noticed how the world operates? Everyone is talking. Everyone is arguing. Everyone is trying to dominate the room. Louder voices, stronger opinions, constant reactions. The system rewards noise. But something different begins happening inside you. You start speaking less. Not because you have nothing to say, but because you no longer feel the need to say everything. You observe more. You listen deeper. You allow silence to exist without rushing to fill it. And at first this shift feels strange. You may even wonder if you are becoming distant. But what is actually happening is far more powerful. Your ego is losing control of the microphone, and your authority is stepping forward. Understand this spiritual principle. The ego demands attention. Authority commands presence. Presence does not shout. Presence resonates. Think about moments that have already begun appearing in your life. You sit in a conversation. Others are speaking quickly, debating, interrupting, trying to prove their intelligence. But you remain still. You listen, you watch, you discern. And then something unexpected happens. When you finally speak, The entire energy of the room shifts. People pause. They listen. Not because you forced their attention, but because your words carry weight. This surprises you at first, because you did not plan it. You did not try to dominate the conversation, yet somehow your voice lands deeper. Why? Because your words are no longer driven by ego. They are carried by alignment. There is a difference. Ego talks constantly. Authority speaks with intention. Ego fills space. Authority defines space. And when you speak from sovereign authority, something spiritual happens. Your words carry resonance. They cut through confusion. They expose truth. Sometimes they comfort. Sometimes they confront. Sometimes they disrupt darkness that others were too afraid to challenge. This is why your voice begins affecting people differently. Some feel calm around you. They feel clarity. They feel a strange peace they cannot explain. But others react differently. They become uneasy, defensive, even irritated. Have you noticed this? You did not attack them. You simply spoke truth, and suddenly the atmosphere shifted. This is spiritual warfare at a subtle level, because when authority speaks, darkness becomes uncomfortable. Truth exposes what deception tried to hide, and not everyone welcomes that light. Remember this: silence is not weakness. Silence is discipline. Silence is discernment. Silence is preparation. When chosen ones learn to hold silence, their words become sharper, clearer, more precise. You stop speaking to impress people. You start speaking to reveal truth. And that shift changes everything. Because when authority finally speaks, it moves hearts. It shifts rooms. It breaks illusions. But what happens next goes even deeper. Because the fourth sign reveals a transformation that begins inside your emotional world. And when that shift arrives, you realize something powerful. The triggers that once controlled you no longer have power over your spirit. Fourth, the emotional triggers that once controlled you begin losing their power. Listen carefully. This is where the difference between you and the world becomes impossible to hide, because the world runs on reaction. One insult and people explode. One disagreement and anger rises. One moment of disrespect and pride demands revenge. The system thrives on emotional chaos, but something begins changing inside you. Have you noticed it? Situations that once pulled you into anger no longer move you the same way. Words that once wounded your pride now pass through you. Old triggers, old buttons, old provocations. They no longer produce the same reaction. And at first, this shift confuses you. You might even wonder if something is wrong. Why am I not reacting the way I used to? Why does this situation feel smaller than it once did? But understand what is happening. Your ego is losing its control, and your sovereignty is taking its place. Remember this truth. The ego reacts instantly because it is fragile, it is easily threatened, it must constantly defend itself. But sovereign authority does not panic. Authority observes, authority discerns, authority responds only when necessary. This is why your emotional world begins to change. Storms still appear, people still test you, the enemy still sends provocation, but the storms no longer control you. They pass through you, like wind across still water. Think about moments that have already happened. Someone tries to insult you. Someone attempts to provoke you. Someone pushes the same button that used to ignite your anger. But this time, something different happens. You pause, you breathe, you observe, and in that moment you realize something powerful. The reaction they expected from you is gone. The emotional explosion they were waiting for never arrives. You remain calm. Not because you are suppressing your emotions, but because your authority has grown stronger than your ego. And this shift creates a strange reaction in others. Some people become confused. They expected a fight. They expected drama. They expected you to defend your pride. But instead, they meet stillness, and that stillness unsettles them. Why? Because emotional control is rare in a reactive world. And when chosen ones begin mastering their emotions, they step into a different level of spiritual authority. This is why your calm begins exposing people. Your peace reveals their chaos. Your stability reveals their insecurity. And not everyone will like that. Some will push harder, some will try new ways to provoke you. But understand this, the enemy thrives on reaction. If darkness can control your emotions, it can control your direction. But when you learn to govern your emotional world, something powerful happens. You become harder to manipulate, harder to distract, harder to derail from your assignment. Your peace becomes armor, your calm becomes strength, and your stability becomes evidence that something greater is guiding your spirit. You are no longer being pulled by every storm. You are standing above the storm, and that transformation is unmistakable. But the next sign reveals an even deeper shift. A shift that begins changing how you move through relationships, conversations, and expectations. Because the fifth sign appears when you become comfortable with something most people fear: being misunderstood. Fifth, you become comfortable with being misunderstood. Listen carefully. This moment is a turning point for every chosen one. Because the ego craves approval, it wants people to agree. It wants people to understand. It wants people to confirm that you are right. But sovereign authority does not depend on agreement. Authority walks forward even when the room is silent. Have you noticed this shift happening in your life? People begin questioning your decisions. Friends look at you with confusion. Family members ask why you changed. Old acquaintances wonder why you no longer fit the same patterns. They say things like, "You used to be different. Why are you acting this way? I don't understand what you're doing." And for a long time, that misunderstanding used to bother you. You tried to explain yourself. You tried to translate your vision into words they could accept. You tried to make your path sound reasonable. But something inside you has changed. You no longer feel the same urgency to explain. You simply continue walking. Not in arrogance, not in rebellion, but in clarity, because a deeper realization has awakened inside you. Not everyone is meant to understand your journey. Understand this truth. The ego wants universal approval. It wants everyone on your side. It wants applause. But destiny has never required consensus. Many of the assignments placed on chosen ones cannot be understood by people who are not walking the same spiritual path. Your decisions begin coming from a deeper place. Your priorities shift. Your values transform. And suddenly the people who once felt familiar no longer recognize the person you are becoming. This is where many chosen ones struggle. Because the loneliness can feel heavy. The misunderstanding can feel personal. But listen carefully. This was never rejection. This was separation. The path of purpose always creates distance between you and the expectations of the crowd. The world moves by comfort, but chosen ones move by calling. The world seeks approval, but chosen ones follow instruction. And sometimes that instruction will lead you down roads that others cannot comprehend. Have you ever noticed how your life keeps pulling you in directions that surprise even you? Doors opening that you did not plan. Old environments fading away. New assignments appearing without warning. This is not random. This is alignment. Your life is being guided by something deeper than social acceptance. And when you begin accepting that truth, something powerful happens. The fear of being misunderstood disappears. You stop performing for the approval of others. You stop shrinking your vision to make people comfortable. You stop seeking permission to become who you were sent here to be. And that freedom changes everything. Because once you stop chasing understanding from others, you start hearing direction from within. That inner voice grows clearer, stronger, more precise, and it begins guiding your steps in ways that logic cannot always explain. Not everyone will understand this. Only the chosen recognize this moment. The moment when you realize that your life was never meant to follow the expectations of the crowd. It was meant to follow destiny. And when that realization locks into your spirit, something even deeper begins happening. Your guidance begins shifting from outside voices to inner knowing. And that is where the sixth sign appears. Sixth, your intuition begins leading more than logic. Listen carefully, because this is where your journey starts feeling different from everyone around you. Not just emotionally, but directionally. For most of your life, the world trained you to trust logic above everything. Think it through, analyze it, follow what makes sense. That is the system. That is the language of the world. But chosen ones eventually discover something deeper. There is another voice inside you, quieter, older, stronger. Have you noticed it? Moments when something inside you knows what to do before your mind can explain it. Moments when your spirit senses danger before evidence appears. Moments when you feel pulled toward a decision that logic cannot fully justify. At first you questioned it, you doubted it, you tried to override it with reason, but the pattern kept returning. You ignored the inner voice, and things became harder. You listened to it, and doors began opening. Have you experienced this a decision that others warned you against? A direction that made no sense to the people around you? Family members questioning you, friends doubting your judgment, co-workers shaking their heads, yet inside, there was calm, not confusion, not fear, certainty. That quiet knowing refused to disappear. And when you followed it, something remarkable happened. The path unfolded exactly the way your spirit sensed. Not instantly, not without resistance, but step by step, confirmation appeared. This is when you begin realizing something powerful. Your intuition is not random, it is alignment. Understand this truth. The ego depends on external validation. It asks the world what it should do. It waits for approval. It searches for permission. But sovereign authority listens to a deeper signal. The voice placed inside you long before the world taught you how to think. Call it intuition. Call it spiritual discernment. Call it divine guidance. The name does not matter. The function does. Because this inner knowing begins guiding you through situations that logic alone could never navigate. It warns you about people. It nudges you toward opportunities. It redirects you when you are about to walk into the wrong environment. And here is where spiritual warfare enters the picture. The enemy works hard to silence that voice. Distraction, fear, overthinking, doubt, all weapons designed to disconnect you from your inner compass. Because when chosen ones learn to trust that guidance, they become difficult to control, difficult to manipulate, difficult to mislead. And that is exactly what begins happening in your life. You start sensing environments differently. You walk into a room and feel the energy immediately. You meet someone and something inside you alerts you before a single word is spoken. You begin reading situations beyond surface appearances. This is not imagination. This is awakening. Your spirit is becoming sharper. Your discernment is becoming stronger. And the more you trust that inner voice, the more clearly it speaks. Not everyone will understand this. Only the chosen recognize it. Because this guidance is not meant to impress people. It is meant to guide destiny. And once your intuition begins leading your steps, another transformation follows. You stop trying to control every outcome. You start trusting the path itself. And that is where the seventh sign begins to appear. Seventh, you feel less need to control every outcome. Listen carefully, because this is one of the clearest signs that your ego is stepping aside and your authority is rising. The ego survives through control. It wants to predict every step, manage every detail, force every result. If the outcome is uncertain, the ego becomes restless. It pushes harder, plans more aggressively, tries to dominate the future. Have you noticed how the world lives this way? Constant anxiety, constant pressure, constant striving to control what has not even happened yet. But something begins changing inside you, slowly, quietly, powerfully. You start loosening your grip on the future, not because you stopped caring, but because you started trusting something deeper. Have you experienced this shift? Plans suddenly change, opportunities close, unexpected detours appear. The old version of you would have panicked. You would have rushed to fix everything. You would have fought the disruption. But now, something inside you pauses. You breathe, you observe, and instead of forcing the situation, you allow the moment to unfold. This is not passivity. This is alignment. Understand this truth. The ego believes survival requires control, but sovereign authority understands something the ego cannot see. There is a larger orchestration unfolding around your life, and the moment you begin trusting that orchestration, everything starts moving differently. Think about the patterns in your journey. Doors that closed when you thought they should open. Paths that collapsed just when you were ready to step forward. Relationships that faded when you expected them to last. At the time, it felt like loss, confusion, delay. But look again. Those closed doors protected you. Those detours redirected you. Those endings created space for something greater. Your life has never been random. Every redirection carried purpose. Every delay carried preparation. Every disruption carried alignment. And now you are beginning to see it. This realization changes how you move through uncertainty. You stop gripping the future with fear. You begin walking with trust. Not blind trust, spiritual trust. Trust that the same force guiding your awakening is also guiding your path. Remember this, chosen ones are not designed to control destiny. They are designed to cooperate with it. The world tries to dominate outcomes, but destiny unfolds through alignment. And when your ego stops trying to force every result, something extraordinary happens. Doors begin opening without struggle. Opportunities appear without manipulation. People enter your life at the exact moment they are needed. This is not coincidence. This is divine timing. The more you release control, the clearer that timing becomes. And this shift makes you different from the world around you. While others panic over uncertainty, you remain steady. While others chase outcomes, you follow guidance. While others fight every delay, you recognize preparation. Not everyone will understand this, but the chosen recognize the pattern. Your life has been guided the entire time, even during the seasons when you thought you were lost. And when that realization settles into your spirit, something else begins happening. Your presence itself starts affecting the people around you, without effort, without trying, without even speaking. That is where the eighth sign begins to appear. Eighth, your presence begins affecting people without effort. Listen carefully, because this is the moment many chosen ones begin realizing that their transformation is no longer internal. It has become visible, not through words, not through titles, not through achievements, through presence. Have you noticed this happening? You enter a room quietly. You say very little. You are not trying to command attention. Yet something shifts. People feel it. The atmosphere changes. Conversations pause for a moment. Eyes turn toward you. Not because you demanded recognition, but because your energy carries something different. This surprises many chosen ones in the beginning. You wonder why people react to you the way they do, why some feel drawn toward you, why others suddenly become uncomfortable, why your presence alone seems to stir something beneath the surface. But understand what is happening. When the ego fades, your authentic authority becomes visible. The noise disappears, the performance disappears, the mask disappears, and what remains is your true spiritual frequency. That presence carries weight. Have you noticed how people respond differently around you now? Some open up immediately. They share things they never planned to say. They feel safe. They feel understood. They feel calm. Your presence gives them permission to breathe, but others react very differently. They become uneasy, guarded, defensive, sometimes even hostile, and you did nothing to provoke them. You simply existed. Why does this happen? Because your presence has become a mirror. It reveals what people are carrying inside. Light feels comfort when it encounters light, but darkness becomes restless when it encounters truth. This is where spiritual warfare becomes subtle. The enemy cannot always attack your words, so it reacts to your presence. Have you ever experienced this, walking into a space where tension suddenly rises? People whispering, energy shifting, someone reacting negatively without explanation. You did not confront them. You did not challenge them. Yet your presence alone unsettled something inside them. This is not coincidence. Your authority is becoming visible in the spiritual realm, and the closer you move toward your assignment, the stronger that effect becomes. Because the light inside you is no longer hidden. It radiates, it exposes, it awakens. Sometimes it inspires people. Other times it triggers them. But either way, the impact is undeniable. You are no longer blending into environments the way you once did. You carry presence now. Presence that calms the sincere, presence that exposes deception, presence that shifts atmospheres without a single word. Not everyone will understand this, but the chosen recognize it. Your life has moved beyond coincidence. Your journey has moved beyond personal development. You are stepping into spiritual authority, And that authority does not just guide your life, it affects the world around you. But the final sign goes deeper than all the others, because the ninth sign is where the full realization appears. The moment when you understand that your transformation was never just about growth, it was about remembrance. Ninth, you begin remembering who you were before the world defined you. Listen carefully, because this is the moment everything finally makes sense. For most of your life, you believed the identity the world handed you, the labels, the expectations, the roles people placed on your shoulders: student, employee, follower, performer. The world told you who you were supposed to be, and for a time, you tried to fit those shapes, but something inside you never felt comfortable in those definitions. Have you ever felt that, a quiet tension? A feeling that the life everyone expected from you was too small for something you could not yet explain. You tried to ignore it. You tried to adjust, but the calling kept pulling you beyond the limits of those roles. Now you understand why. The ego was only a mask, a temporary identity built by survival pressure and social conditioning. But underneath that mask, something ancient was waiting: your sovereign self. And as the ego recedes, that deeper identity begins rising to the surface. You start seeing your life differently. The things you once chased begin losing their meaning. Status, recognition, approval, the trophies the world celebrates, they no longer define your purpose. You are not driven by applause anymore. You are guided by alignment. Have you noticed this shift? Your decisions feel different now. They no longer come from ambition. They come from clarity. You are not trying to become someone new. You are remembering who you always were. This is why your journey has been so intense. The resistance, the isolation, the battles you fought in silence. The enemy did not fight you because you were weak. The enemy fought you because your awakening carried power. Because the moment you remember your true identity, control over you disappears. And that moment is happening now. You are not just growing, you are returning to the authority placed inside you long before the world tried to shape your identity. Chosen one, if these signs are appearing in your life, understand what is unfolding. You are not falling apart. You are shedding the layers that were never truly you. The ego was a temporary shell, a structure the world built so you could survive its systems. But you were never created just to survive. You were created to stand in authority. Sovereign, unshaken, unafraid. This is the moment where your identity stops being shaped by fear, comparison, and approval, and something greater takes its place: presence. When that presence awakens, you no longer chase validation. Your very existence begins carrying weight. And here is a truth the world rarely understands. When the ego fades, you do not become weaker, you become immovable. Because the authority rising within you was never given by the world. It was placed inside you by something eternal. And once that awakening begins, it cannot be reversed. If you recognize these signs in your own life, write the number 9 in the comments. Let the chosen ones find each other. And if this message spoke directly to your spirit, subscribe and continue walking this path with us. Because your awakening is not finished, it is only beginning. Remember this: the world creates followers, but destiny awakens sovereigns.